Greetings, math friends. We are going to look at rewriting the product of the sine of A times the sine of B as a sum or difference. And as a helping theorem to complete this, we are going to need to know that the difference of angles and the sum of angles of cosine can be expressed as either this, or as we switch from subtraction to addition, this sign switches from addition to subtraction. And it may not be immediately apparent why we need a cosine when we're looking at the product of sines. And the work through on this is not intuitive, probably unless you've had some experience trying to do this. The first thing that I want to do is I want to rewrite this. We're going to add a factor in here. I need this to be 2 times this. But if I multiply by 2, then I have to have some kind of way to balance this out. So we're also going to multiply by a half. These are multiplicative inverses, so they give me 1. So I haven't changed the magnitude of this with this factor. Then we're going to look at expanding the inside here. 2 times something is the same as this thing plus itself. We can see that we're starting to get some addition of terms here, but in the hint is that we're using this difference of angles with cosine. We need cosines and sines, so we're going to have to bring another term into this. So just like we did up here when we multiplied by a term that we were going to need and then multiplied by its inverse, so that goes to 1, we need a cosine added in here. So we're going to add that cosine in, but then we immediately subtract out the same value. These are additive inverses, so this is the same as adding 0 to something, so the magnitude again does not change. Then, since this is the addition or subtraction of real numbers, this process is commutative, so that we can rearrange things. We can bring this cosine and the sine here together, and then that will leave us with the sine and the subtraction of those cosines here. Now that we have rearranged this a little bit by the commutative property, we can see that this piece right here is this right here, so we can replace this piece with this statement. So this right here is the cosine of A minus B. Over here, what I'd like to do is factor out a negative so that I can move the cosine to the front as a positive in front of this thing. So I'm going to factor out a -1 here and write this first. And then this was positive. Factoring out a -1 makes this negative. So now that we have the subtraction here, I had mentioned earlier, if this is subtraction, that means this is addition. So this piece right here is the cosine of A plus B. This negative will multiply by this. So we can have this more concisely. And we are done. The product of sine of A times the sine of B is equal to 1/2 times the difference of angles with cosine minus the sum of angles with cosine. So we've rewritten this product so that we have subtraction. And we also have subtraction or addition of the angles of input here as angles of input. And then we just pick up this extra scalar of 1/2. So if for some reason you have a situation where you have a product of angles here, and it would be more reasonable, convenient, a better problem-solving situation, we can actually take this and replace it with this scaled difference and use that in our problem solving. Or if we happen to see that we have this type of pattern in a problem that we're working on, then we could replace it with this. So these identities are nice sometimes in problem solving for those kind of substitutions. So this is an identity. We haven't established that these are any particular angles over any particular domain. This is going to hold true for any of the angles that you need it to. Hopefully this has been interesting. I hope you find some mathematics in your part of the world to enjoy. Cheerful calculations.